Hey, y'all, and welcome back to another fan mini episode of Catch That, where we get to know our friends through their favorite R&B songs. I am naturally Elise, and that is my brother,
JR.
and we are the R&B representatives, and we are very happy to have our very good brother come on and kick it with us. We always love when he's here, and that is
Yes.
the good brother Eddie. Hey.
Hey, how are y'all? You see, I messed up, man. I got my government name on there, but it's still Eddie. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no tripping at all, man. But you know, uh, obviously Elise and JR, y'all like fam. So you know what I'm saying? We got
Of
that
course.
apartment 5B, R&B representatives connection. So I'm just glad that I've been invited to the cookout on both sides. So
Yeah, we gonna put you on the ribs or something.
Right, right,
Everybody
absolutely.
pitch in.
right.
Yes. So how about you tell us, Eddie, what song you picked today, and do you remember hearing it for the first time?
Absolutely. So the song I picked today was Monifa's I Miss You, Come Back Home. Um, this is a song I just loved it from, when I first heard it. And I think the single dropped, that was the first single from the album. I think it dropped in 95. And so at that time, you know, I'm a big hip hop head. So, any of these R&B joints, you had an MC on it, I'm gonna listen to it. Even just for the verse, and especially with like Heavy D, I feel like he's so perfect with these R&B joints. Um, and so this was after um gosh, I can't remember what album he had dropped 95. um but this is like after Blue Funk and all that
Mm-hmm.
stuff, right?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so Heavy D drew me in, and when I heard Monifa's voice, just thought very good, like very unique, like her tone and everything, just kind of drew me in. And you know great song. I just love it, and just wanted to hear more from her after that, for sure. And yeah, I think the Soul for Real stuff came out before Monifa, right? Or did it?
Yes. It did. It did. Because
Right.
I think they came out in April. And I don't think Monifa came out until maybe the fall of 95, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know, at least if you can check it out, 'cause I don't want to
Yeah.
be
I
wrong.
am. I'm checking it out.
Okay.
Right, because that was the other thing, which was, I was intrigued because I'm like, all right,
Yes.
Heavy D had Soul for Real, and now he got another artist, and I want to see what this one was about as well.
Right.
Yeah, because actually, the single Candy Rain came out in November 94, but the
Oh,
album came out in 95, but the single had come out.
Right. Just
okay.
like Monifa's album came out in 96 and the
Yep.
single came out in 95.
5. Yep. Y'all
Yeah,
is smart. Y'all is important. My
don't do that.
bad.
You did that a long time.
I have it. I have it.
Right.
I remember first the period when I first heard it. And yeah, I guess I was 16, 17, and that was like that song in particular was the cut. Like you couldn't escape that song. Um I remember me and all my friends really loving it and loving her a lot. Um yeah.
Right. And
It's-
and and I think for me, I could see uh, a difference between the hip hop R&B that was coming out, especially think 95.
Right.
It was really more hip hop with an R&B singer over it than like it's like an R&B song with Heavy D just going with it effortlessly. Now, McGruff, we talk about later. I don't feel like he really fit on the song. Me personally,
Oh, okay.
me personally, but I think Heavy D definitely did his thing, and it felt like he was featured on that. Like it was her
Hmm.
song, and he was just featured instead of like a hip hop track with an R&B singer over it.
I know for me, I think when I heard it, it was like as soon as it came on, I was like, wait a minute, is this Mary All Night Long remix? I was like,
Right.
hold up. But then when I heard that voice, I was like, no, that ain't Mary now. Like I was like, that ain't Mary now. I was like, oh, I'm loving her voice. You know, it's so rich. And I was like, oh, and then it was on the radio. I think this was on Hot 97 at the time. And I
Mm-hmm.
remember them saying that it's this new artist on Uptown label, and her name is Monifa. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, it just knocks. Like you can't help but like to jam to it. And then I heard it on New York Undercover, one of my favorite shows, Elise Stone. But
Yeah,
it's one of my favorite, and I heard it on New York Undercover, and I was like, "Oh, this joint is a smash." You
that's
know what I
right.
mean?
That's
It's a
right.
smash.
Because
You know
I
what I'm saying?
love that. Yo, New York Undercover, they used to have the dopest performances. What was the name of the venue?
Natalie's.
Natalie's.
Natalie's. They always had the dopest performance. And it was a great way to incorporate it because you know what I'm saying? Like they'll just be there in the element, the vibe of it, and they'll have the performance. Um, and I think even the video for the song kind of played into it as well. Like,
Mm-hmm.
because you know, Monifa, she's there, she's performing barefoot, which was like, okay, you know what I'm saying? But you know, it kind of had that vibe to it.
Like you said, this was a transition in music. You know what I mean? Because it was like once 92 came in, it was like, with SWV and Mary, they kind of made it a little bit more street when it came to hip hop. You know what I'm saying? To R&B for real. So now everybody now is hitting that now. Everybody had to have a hard beat now. Like it had
Right.
to have a hard like hitting when it came to R&B for real now. So you're going these transitions. Janet's doing it with That's the Way Love Goes. It's just going down to the list. So now we're in 95 now. Now it's like Mary done came out with My Life Now. You got everybody, like everybody using Dave Hall, everybody's using this, everybody's Brian. It's like this is the transition now. So when this come in, I'm like, wait a minute, who produced this record? So then I saw that Heavy D produced the
Right.
record, and then he also produced it with Kip Collins, who's on the keys,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like boom, 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 and it's like so. It just the song is just so dope. Like you can't help to listen to it, and you can't help but to groove to it. You know what I'm saying? And then to have Terry Robinson, who's on backgrounds of this, she co-wrote it with Heavy D, right? And she was a part of the Girls. Al B. Sure's The Girls. And I don't think she gets a lot of credit because she did a lot of background for so many people. She did it for Mary because she's on Real Love. You know what I mean? She did Al B. Sure's background. She did Stephanie Mills. She did so many people. Soul for Real,
Right.
Total. Like, she don't get her just due. So I was just like, yo, when we talk about this, I got to talk about Terry Robinson because she has done so much stuff. And her backgrounds on this and her and Monifa, they sounded so good together, man. And it's just a knocker, and you can put this in a hip hop mix, and it'll work. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah. And I love and I did research, but you know, there's still gaps in my knowledge. Who do you know who wrote the song? Because I think the song structure is just great. Like
Terry Robinson, she did
Terry
it.
Rock. Okay,
Yeah, she
And
did
gotcha.
it.
Heavy D.
And Heavy
And
D.
everything.
Yes, I'm
And
sorry.
everything.
And Heavy D. Yes,
No,
yes.
I love
They
it because you got like the song structure. It's like what we don't get. Like you
right.
got the kind of bridge leading up to the chorus and like the different sections and like how her voice and inflections change with ah you know,
Yeah. And
we don't get that granular in the song structure.
Right.
yeah. Yeah, and that arrangement, because like when the sugar come back home,
Right.
I'm so all alone. Ugh, I need someone that I can talk to.
Yes.
But speaking of but a little bit back to the production, if you're gonna listen to this whole album, the subject matter isn't dark, but the production sounds dark. Like you think about the song "You," which is another hit from it.
Yeah.
Like that
That's my
sound,
joint.
that song, and it's not a dark song at all. It's a very heartfelt, sweet love song, but the
Mhm.
production is dark and her phrasing in it is dark, but it's not a dark song at
Right.
all. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's
It's very
interesting.
Right.
gritty. It's
Right.
gritty.
Yeah, it's
It's
like in a
Speaking of
very
basement.
right.
yes.
Cause
It's like
you sound like it's in a basement, and it
yes.
does. And then you has a hip hop sample because it has a Biz Marquee sample.
Yes. Yes. Yep.
Right.
Yep. Yep.
And speaking of hip hop, like the remix was crazy.
With
The I
AZ.
Miss You with AZ,
Yep.
and
Yep.
I love that.
that
A little
was the
vibe because I love AZ. I love AZ. I was a day one like AZ super fan. Still am.
and I love that they reworked the song for the remix. It wasn't just
Uh-huh.
like, all right, the same vocals over a new sample and adding AZ. It's like, are we gonna do this whole thing? It had a whole different feel to it, which is what a remix should be. Like it should
Right.
serve a whole different purpose.
A
And
whole new song.
right.
Yeah.
And I
That's why
feel
I
like,
love.
yeah,
Yeah. And that's why I love that period of the 90s because, like you said, remixes of songs were reworking. You still got the same spirit of the original song, but some of them, you might get the same words, but a whole different melody. Another
Right.
one, another one, you might not even get the same words, just maybe the same chorus. Like it was
Hmm.
cool. It kind of gave you a different glimpse into your favorite song. You're like, oh, okay, I like this
Yeah,
too. And
I
both
agree.
would be dope. Sometimes the remix would be doper than the original. So
Right. Right.
right.
Right.
And then you don't feel cheated on the album, right? Like when you just have the same song with a different, it kind of feels a little cheated because I think the remix was on the album, but like I said, it felt like a whole different song.
Hmm. When
right,
people actually
like
making remixes.
yeah, like that ain't no remix. That's a blend. That's a DJ blend tape.
Absolutely. So
But
which
it,
one
which
other
I love,
thing,
but
right,
a good DJ can do that. I didn't need you to do that.
right, 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 right.
exactly. One other thing I had to bring up, and this was completely unintentional, but I realized that we came full circle because the first time I was
I
on
was waiting
R&B
for this.
representative was Mary Jane Girls All Night Long,
Yep.
and then you got that got sampled with the Mary song,
Hmm.
and then they sampled the Mary song on I Miss You.
Hmm.
So it just really shows when I say that song, when that was the first song I did with you guys, and I say that was one of my favorite songs, obviously because there was something that also drew me into it was having that sample on it,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Of
Yep.
another song that I love, right?
Hmm.
Which is the beauty of music, right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
And this song just makes me think about New York. Like it's so New York, man. Like it's so gritty. It's just so you know what I'm saying? Like you just can't help to be like you get that stank, nasty face. Like it's just that gutter. You know what I'm saying? And Monifa sounds so cool. She sounds beautiful on it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
It
And it
does.
sounds so good on it. And that's why it's just like this, like our family of Sites podcast. This song was a hit, a song. You know what I mean? And it just hit the way it did. And it's just like anytime I hear it and it comes on, I don't gotta turn it. I can hear it and never get sick of it. I never get sick of this joint because the bass is just hitting you off the break. Like it's hitting you in the back. Like, come on, you better move. You can't sit still. And then, like Sis said, then she got You, which is another one that's don't, don't,
Right.
don't, don't. Like it's like, oh, they said what we gonna do is we gonna hit Monifa hard. And I think that's another issue that went with Monifa is the fact that I think Mary was kind of like the blueprint, you know what I'm saying, of
Right.
this new R&B that's coming in. And now everybody is following that. So mind you, you have this single and you're using All Night Long, which is Mary. So that's why for me as a fan in my life, it's like, because this song came out in December of 94 or 95, right? 95, I'm sorry, December of 95.
Right.
The My Life album is still at, and I think she's on her third, fourth single now, which was All Night Long. So you got that playing and you got that. It's just like you get mixed up. So then it's like, oh, is that Mary? Is it not? You know what I'm saying? So it was very, very, you know, it just, and I feel bad for Monifa because her voice, you can't compare when it comes to Mary.
Oh no.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Her voice is so like, you could tell that's a church voice. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that. Mary has the soul, but Monifa got gospel in her voice. And when you listen to the album, Mood and Moments, you can tell that. And this song, and she needed this song. It's a classic song, but again, it kind of pigeonholed her. That's why I think when she did Touch It, it was completely
Completely
opposite
different.
of what this album was. So that's why when a lot of people talk about Monifa, the mainstream anyway, they're gonna go to Touch It. Because we're gonna go to I Miss You Come Back Home because it's gritty for us. But the mainstream world is like, oh, Monifa, Touch It. You know what I mean? So yeah, so that's how I kind of feel
No,
bad.
no, you're right. And I forgot she did that song, but yeah, I always come to this verse.
Yeah.
But I mean it was another big hit. It sounded different. Obviously, kind of had a whole different sound.
Yeah.
Now what was she was still working with Heavy D on that album as well?
What the
Second
Mahogany?
album? Yeah.
Nah, I think
Okay.
Heavy D was. I think he was out the picture if I'm not mistaken. Because also this is a time when Uptown was kind of on the downhill. But no, Heavy was a part of the album. He was. He had a couple of joints on the album, but I think Monifa kind of took a little bit more of. I want to be more involved. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to be more involved, and that was so Touch It was a smart single, but it was like we like I Miss You Come Back Home. That's Monifa right there. So
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
a lot of people involved on that. Familiar names on that second album.
yeah, Tony Dope Fat I know was part of it.
Vince Herbert,
Vincent, yep.
Queen Latifah did some writing on the
Ah,
album.
okay. I know Mario Winans
Um,
was a part of it
Mario
too.
Winans, yep.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, Heavy D was on like 3 songs. Queen Pen was a big part of this album. Yeah.
Okay.
So interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you can't deny what, I Miss You does. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that junk
Like
is
I
a
said.
song.
If
A
folks watch
song.
it, yeah, y'all should go listen to the album. It's an album I really like. I bought that CD back then. I enjoyed it a lot. Um, yeah.
Oh, the moment you talk about Mood and Moments. Oh yes. I love that. I'm like, it's all right. Um, the gospel joint that she do at the end that everybody had to have one.
Yeah.
Right.
And it featured Lionel Richie.
Oh shoot.
Oh.
It did?
Yeah,
Damn.
it did.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all right. You don't have to tell me nobody's body. Like, Lay With You, we talked about on the show, and we talked about, well, what's his name?
Thick.
Vic. Yes, we talked about Lay With You with Vic, and the horns on there. Like, this album is really underrated to me. And I think, like Sis said, I think I need people really to go listen to it for real, for real.
Yeah, it's dope.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's you don't really hear a name brought up that much. Like when you hear of like 90s R&B, female soloists, like you really don't.
You
Yeah.
don't.
That's a And that's a shame because I think she had a big contribution, and that girl, that woman can sing,
Yes, she can. Yes, she
and her
can.
voice still
Absolutely.
sound good now.
Yes, it
You know,
does.
30 years later. So
Yep,
yeah,
and still singing down. Yep, yep. I agree. I totally agree. Yep.
yeah.
Mm.
Oh, dope,
Eh,
man. Well, I alluded to earlier. I don't think the McGruff feature really added anything for me. Like to me, and nothing against dude. I just felt like it sounded generic to me. Like if you could insert any other MC and do that performance. Like to me, he didn't add anything.
I
Right.
think what I don't like about the feature, it's not the rap itself, it's that it's at the beginning. I don't like that. Like, why they
Um,
didn't put it in the middle or like in the end of the song? I didn't like,
oh,
and I can't think of,
the
huh?
McGruff feature was at the end.
And
Oh, am I thinking about the remix? And
You're
it's at the
thinking of the
beginning.
yes, you
remix
think
with
about the
AZ,
remix, yes, because the beginning of this is Heavy
Heavy
D
D.
just talks, and then Monifa comes in, and then at the end, McGruff gets his verse in.
Okay, I thought about it backwards. Okay, never
Yeah,
mind. That's what I
yeah,
said.
it happens. It
Yeah,
happens.
like especially with what Heavy D did and just kind of floating on that, and like McGruff comes in and it's a little different, but it's like I don't know. To me, I feel like I could take it or leave it. It just didn't add anything to me.
I, I, yeah, I feel like a rap wasn't needed. Period. To
Because
be
it was
honest,
already gritty as it
like it was
was, so
fine for
you
the
didn't need.
remix because with a
Yeah,
it makes sense to add it a rapper or something on a
Right,
remix. It
right,
makes
right,
more sense as long as
right.
it's an actual rapper. But like, but it didn't really need it to me. But I guess it didn't take away too much because I'm still jamming to that song to this day. I play that song. That song never left my rotation of music.
Yeah, me either.
right,
Me,
right.
me
And
either.
like I said, I think with the Heavy D feature, at least to me, it brought me to the song. And obviously, I love the song for Manifa, but
Yeah,
when I saw the Heavy D had an artist, he was featured on it, I was like, yo, let me check that out as a hip hop head. And that brought me. So it served its purpose.
That makes
I feel
sense.
like that second feature
Okay.
really, yeah.
makes sense.
That does make sense. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Those features would bring people that might not normally check something out to look
Right,
at it. So, no, that makes a lot of sense to me. Yeah.
right, right.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yes. Well, brother Eddie, thank you for bringing us another banger.
Banger.
Yeah,
You have you have brought us some jams.
Yes,
no
Like
doubt, man.
I'm
yes.
I'll
I'm
continue
still
trying.
gagged about you bringing Moment in Life. Like I, when
Right.
me and JR saw that one, we was like, what?
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
Yeah,
We
Yes,
were
we
so
did.
hyped. And
Yes,
I
we
was hyped
were.
about this one too. And I was hyped about your so yes. Keep bringing us the
appreciate it.
jams.
No
Yes,
doubt, man. I
yes.
will, man. So I'm gonna continue to be back. You're gonna have to kick me out.
Oh
Nah,
nah, this is love. I love it. I
you
love
know,
it.
you family. You know,
Yeah.
we don't just be getting rid
Absolutely.
of folks like that. Not good
Right.
folks.
Not that easy. Yeah.
Okay. Come on, somebody.
Yeah, you can't get rid of that easy.
Right, right, right.
Yes, but if you have anything going on, let the people know. If it's just anything you want to say, the floor is yours.
Oh no, man. I'm still on Twitter. I refuse to call it X. At Eddie the 80. I do remember my TikTok. So I've been posting music on TikTok. That's what I use it for. I'm not doing any of these trends or dances, so don't get it twisted. But I do like to post music. I think my handle is Low End Marauder. I'm a huge Trot fan, so
Right. Yes, you are.
Low End
We done.
Marauder. That's my handle. So I'm if there's a music section of TikTok, and that's where you find me. So
Okay.
absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we thank all of our viewers. Thanks for hanging out with us once again. Like Tribe once again. And you know, come back and check us out. We miss you. Come back
I
home,
appreciate
you know. But all seriousness, we really love y'all. Thanks for all the support. Continue to like, subscribe, share it with your folks. And we'll just be over here talking about music and stuff still. So come on, check us out, and we will catch y'all on the next Catch That. Peace.
Peace.
Hey y'all, and welcome back to another fan mini episode of Catch That, where we get to know our friends through their favorite R&B songs. I am Naturally Elise, and that is my brother.
JR.
And we are the R&B representatives. And today we have a new face coming to hang out with us, and that is the good brother Steve-O. What's up?
How you doing? Appreciate you having me on.
Yes, we're glad you came.
Yes.
We went through some changes to get here, but we here.
Right.
Yes. So before we get into talking about the song that you chose, how about you tell us a little bit or a lot about you?
Yeah, for sure. My name's Steve-O. Right now I live about 30 minutes north of Boston. I'm originally from mid-Maine. I have 2 daughters. Big fan of your content. I appreciate the invite. Love this song. It was my gateway to R&B pretty much. So I'm excited to hear some input on it too.
Yes. Well, how about you tell us what song that is?
So I had a hard time with it, but I chose Freak Me by Silk.
Oh, yeah.
And then, yeah, see what you did there.
And do you remember hearing it for the first time? And if so, how did it make you feel? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. So that song came out when I was 14. So if you know when you're 14, you're starting to have feelings and all these other feelings. And I just remember hearing it on the radio because I didn't really have like, the internet or anything like that, or family that listened to R&B. So it was just like it caught my ear. A friend of mine had the tape, so I borrowed the tape. Remember tapes?
I do.
Like, woo!
These kids will never know.
Yeah. And it was like downhill from there. I just caught the fever and started getting my hands on all the R&B I could get my hands on.
Yes. Well,
Caught the bug.
yes. All our R&B representative fans know that I am particularly excited that you picked the Silk song because I love me some Silk. Day one fan, still a fan. Like those are my guys. And go back and look at the end of the Terrace Martin episode, family,
Woo!
to remember how I got heated.
Oh, no, it wasn't no heated. She wanted to get some gangster shit with Terrence Martin, so yes.
Oh, I did.
Yeah, I gotta check.
Shout out to the Silk fan page for putting it up. Thanks for the love.
That's crazy. I need to look that up. That's crazy.
Yeah, yes.
It wasn't the fan page. It was their page.
Oh, right. It was their official page. That's right. You right. My bad. I don't want to get none of that rap from Terrence. You right.
Don't go like your brother went out. Don't go out like that.
Okay.
Don't go out there.
Nah.
But yeah, Steve-O, what was it about that song? You said that was your gateway to R&B. What was it that?
Yeah, so I mean, at first it was like Lil G's notes, Lil G's runs, the harmonies. But then when I got my hands on the album, I mean, the album is way more than that song is. I mean, that song is just a taste of what's really on the album. So, just the way it talked about like grown-up relationships and relationships maybe I wanted to have a part in soon. Being 14 or 15, it's like, okay, this is a whole new world for me right now. So
yeah, I was the same age. So we're the same age. So yeah.
All right. Yeah, it was and it was a good time for R&B too. It was like there was still a little bit of I want to date you, but I also want to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's not like I don't want to date you, I just want to do this. So
Right. Yes, no imagination at all. At
Yep.
all. But
good
it's
sweet
crazy
talk
to
music.
it's crazy to me because I wasn't y'all age at I wasn't there. I was only 6. So I was like,
Yep.
yes.
Oh,
So I just remember this is one of the songs where I remember, and I just remember my mom looking at me like, nah, he really don't know what he's singing. So I'm gonna
yeah.
let him live. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like I'm
Mhm.
gonna let him live because he
Yep.
really don't know what he's singing. Because I'm just
Right.
singing it. But I was introduced to Silk actually through Keith Sweat, actually, because
Right.
my family are big Keith Sweat fans. So by
Mhm.
this time, we're still on the Keep It Coming album, which I was getting tired of because my family was playing it over and over and over. I was like, can you please? Like, I'm getting sick of this. But my whole family is big Keith Sweat fans. So by 92 comes around, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? In my house, it's En Vogue, Mary, Bobby, SWV playing Out of Control. So I just remember one day watching Video Soul, y'all, Video Soul was the ish. You know what I'm saying? Video LP, like all that on BET when we had music programming. Just saying. And, right. And I remember Happy Days coming on. And
Yep,
I
that was the
remember
first
my
single.
mother, I was
Yeah.
like, Mom, does Keith Sweat got a new record? And she was like, no,
Oh,
look at her, got the vinyl. Look at that. And I was like, Mom, do they got a new song? And, I mean, does Keith Sweat got a new song? She was like, no, I don't think so. So we
mhm.
sitting there, so everybody's sitting down watching the video, and it said Silk featuring Keith Sweat. But I just remember Little G because I remember him of singing when they were singing background with him on Keep It Coming on Arsenio Hall. I remember because Little G was short compared to everybody, hence the name Little.
I
But
didn't know
he
that.
was little, so I just remember seeing, I was like, I remember him. Okay, cool. So I was like, oh, this is his new group, whatever, whatever. So mind you, I didn't really pay too much attention, but Happy Days was a bop. You know what I mean? And
Wasn't
again, my family is big Keith Sweat fans, so we obviously gonna play that.
it? Mhm.
So after that, I really paid it no mind, right? So then Freak Me comes on. And this is maybe 6, 7 months later. This
Mhm.
song comes on, it comes on Video Soul. And I just remember the video being red. It was just red, had the red
Red.
background and all
Mhm.
of that, right? And I just remember first seeing it, and what caught me, because I'm a background dude and harmonies, and this is at a young age. I just remember, yeah, oh, yeah. Like I remember him doing all of that. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? So I was like, I like this. And obviously my mom not paying too much attention to it because it's like, all right, he likes that part, whatever. So
Right.
after that, the song kept playing everywhere. It was everywhere. You heard it on Top 40. You heard it on R&B. You heard it
Hit number
everywhere.
one.
Right. And I started remembering, and I remember the words. So I remember then it finally played on the radio, and I remember singing all the words. And I just remember my mother was like, "Now wait a minute,"
Still?
and she right, and she's
Yeah.
staring, and she like I said in the beginning, she looking like he really
He
don't know what
doesn't
he's
know.
talking about, like
He
at
doesn't.
all. So I'm not even gonna get on him. I'm just gonna look at him, and I'm like staring at her, and she just grinning like he don't know what he's saying. And now I get and I asked her and I asked my mom before we got on here. I was like, Mom, you remember when I was singing Freak Me by Silk? She was like, yeah, you were 6
Oh.
thinking that you knew what you were talking about, and you ain't know none of that at all. So I always remember that, like that being one of the songs that my mother was just like,
Yeah.
no, let
Yeah,
me see here.
and see, think about it when it came out. Me and Steve-O, teenagers, I used to hate when that song came on if I was in the car with my mother
Because you
because
couldn't
it was
sing.
my jam and I wanted to sing along to it, but then I'd be like,
Mhm.
If my mom wasn't even like no hard body person, that would have been, you're in trouble or cut it off. But she is gonna talk shit.
Right.
Like, what you thinking that for? Being funny.
You don't know what that is, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm like, well, I might not be doing it, but I do know what it is now. I'm at that age. I know what they're talking about.
Mhm.
I'm not just asking you. They ought to been like 8, like 8 years old. I knew exactly what they was.
Right. I was trying to learn. That's all.
Yeah,
Okay.
Taking notes. All right. Okay.
Up.
I remember my my stepmom came home one day and I was singing in the shower. I didn't know anybody was coming home. And I get out the shower and she's like, "You can't carry a tune for nothing." And that's a song I was singing. Oh. Never did that again.
Oh no.
And the next thing I'm gonna say, this is gonna be a very kind of inside thing, but this is for good old Lauren. We like this song because it's a consent carol. Because he says, "Till you say stop."
Mhm.
So
He's polite.
yes. What up, Lauren? Yes.
Very. I didn't think about that for a second. Yes, he's saying, "Let me know." Like you know what I'm saying.
And he said, "Let me do all the things you want me to do."
Mhm. Very considerate.
Yeah.
It's
He didn't say, "I'm gonna get freaky with you." He said, "I want to get freaky with you."
Mhm. Back during the sweet talking age.
Yeah.
Yes.
Baby,
Yes.
understand, I want to be your next man.
Come on, lyrics. Come on.
You know what I mean?
But
Yeah.
but
Not
it's
gonna
so
get me.
crazy. Right.
You don't want to hear it.
If they
You
listen
know,
to my singing, they can listen to anybody.
I'll do the
I'm
soft spoken part, but that's about it.
I'm glad that even though they're more known for their ballads, but I am glad that they started with Happy Days
Mhm.
as an up tempo. You know what I mean? Because it's like, okay, you can see obviously they can do an up tempo, they can do a ballad, even though they're known for more of their ballads. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? But at least that first single got you kind of prepared, because I mean, Lil G is going off on that record. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? So then
can't stop him.
this, and what's so crazy, because we did an episode back, I forgot who was with, and at the end of Sis song word associations, it was, one of these songs, she was talking about #1 songs, right? So I didn't know that this song actually went to #1 until that episode. But then she was like, this was the biggest song of 1993.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa.
Yeah,
You remember what it knocked off though?
TRS, Gangsta Lean.
No,
Almost Got You.
on the pop charts, it knocked off that Snow. Remember Snow?
Oh, what it
Oh,
knocked off.
right. Yeah.
I
What a
didn't
great
know
week
that.
that was. Yeah,
didn't
what a
know
great week that was. Finally.
Hello, amen. I don't
Yeah.
even know how that got #1.
Well,
Temujin.
we know.
Right, Timothy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was the most weeks on the R&B chart. But the song with 1 week less was DRS Gangsta Lean.
Oh, I love that.
And then it was like SWV Human Nature. But JR, when I brought it up, JR thought that it was the SWV that was the biggest song. I said, oh, no. It was my boys.
Mm-hmm.
What?
I would have thought it would have been Janet, because Janet knocked them off.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the way love goes. Yes.
Like, what are you gonna do? Sorry.
Yeah, like it. And I found out that they were at #2 for 10 weeks.
Yeah.
I was like, that's why how huge this song really was.
Yeah.
So it was in the top 2 for over 10 weeks. So it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? But I thought, because SWV was so big in 93, I'm thinking, oh, they had Weak, they had Right Here Human Nature, which was owning it. So I was like, oh yeah, it's Right Here Human Nature. She was like, no, it was the gangster lean. Sorry, like you thought it
I
was
didn't
your
know that
truth.
either. That's crazy.
But did you know that during the time that this song was out, I didn't realize from my bubble that it had crossed over. I didn't know that until
Mhm.
a lot later.
Oh, really?
I didn't realize it crossed over. I
Mhm.
just knew I knew it went platinum in my speakers, but I didn't know it crossed over.
I'm glad it
See,
did. It got to me.
right.
Yeah.
Because
It
when I
was
was in
just.
Maine, there was no R&B station.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
in 1992, there was no R&B station in Maine for the Steve to
Wow.
catch on
I'm
this.
glad. I'm glad that it did, because, and then that's when I started to learn about Top 40 radio at the time,
Mhm.
because it was like I would turn to, like, it was just the R&B stations that I was really, really, hitting to. But by this time, my mom is like, no, 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 you can turn to 101.3. And I'm like, what's that? And she was like, that's Top 40 radio. So you're gonna hear us, whatever crossed over, but you're going to also hear like the Ace of Base, and you're gonna hear
Oh.
all of that. Right. That
You don't know about me in that song. Oh,
it's so crazy, because the sign, every time I hear that record, I think about Top 40 radio. So it's like that. So that's when I started learning. So when I turned on that, it would be like, oh, they would play the sign, then you will hear Freak Me, then you would
Mhm.
hear, you know what I'm saying? So it was just, that's what I was learning,
And
like,
then
oh, this is the crossover here. Got it. Got
and
it.
then,
Got
and then you
it.
hear another Ace of Base, then you hear, oh, that's you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, yes.
Killing me, Ace of Base, man. That's
Oh,
why
God.
Rex played it. Were you on the on Rex's last show?
He
No.
did. Yes, he did.
That's why.
Oh,
'Cause he
okay,
knows it makes
got
me
it.
nauseous. Like inside, it makes me nauseous.
He got
He
no
did
friends,
play
man.
it, but you know what? I was in the kitchen because I had it on my computer, so I
Mhm.
wasn't in the chat. So I was like, "Why is he playing this?" But I was
Yeah.
like, "I rock with it. I
Yeah.
do." And now I know why he did it. He was being petty.
He was. Because it was on the radio. You turn on the radio, it was on every station.
It was. It was.
Every station.
But it was good when you turn and to hear us, the crossover stuff, like to
Yeah.
hear Freak Me, to hear Boys
Mhm.
the Men, to hear
Mhm.
all of that, to hear Janet, to hear this. So it was SWV, to hear them. It was just great. And 93,
H-Town.
that time, we was getting a lot of crossover. Just like we said, all these people we said, they were getting
Shy.
crossed over. Because Freak Me is an R&B gut record. And for it to be a #1 pop hit,
With that
it's
content too.
yes.
I mean,
But I think the thing with Free Me, I can't think of any other songs that sound like that.
It didn't.
So it was unique, but it was R&B to the you said to the guts, to the core.
I
You
mean, it
know,
was the same time as H-Town, so it was like it was starting to escalate,
Yep. Yep.
Sure.
Knocking the
knocking the
boots. Yep.
boots. Yeah.
Yep.
So it was
And
like,
it's so crazy that what's his name? Is his name Ron Murray? That's the songwriter of this.
yeah, I
yeah,
think
I
that's
couldn't find anything on him. Roy Murray.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
yes.
yeah, Roy Murray
Roy Murray, yes.
and
He
Tino
actually,
West.
and you could definitely tell the type of songs that he liked, because he did the remix to Downtown.
Okay.
So I'm like, oh, because even that song was already written, and you know what I'm saying, but he did the remix to it. They
Okay.
called it the Wetter remix. I said, oh, makes sense. You got a song Freak Me, and then you do the Wetter with Downtown.
Mhm.
Okay, I see where your mind is.
Right. Where are you going? Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
And I love it because when what was it? The New Edition tour. And
Mhm.
when Keith Sweat and all of them was on it, it's so crazy because Keith Sweat is kind of like Babyface. They do a medley of the songs that they wrote and produced, right? And I know the audience that we're at, so I'm expecting it, but to see it and everybody in the audience is singing "Let Me Lick You Up," and I'm
Yeah.
like, whoa, you got like, then you got so many different nationalities up in this joint, and everybody is singing this record. I'm
Yep.
like, well, damn, that's how much you know that how big this song really was. You know what I mean? Because it could have stayed in the R&B world, which it could have, but
Right.
for it to cross over and have everybody sing, I had to record it because I was like, yo. And then you got the, you know what I'm saying? And then you even had little teenagers now
Right.
that was singing it. And I was just like, wow. Because this is peanuts compared to what they hearing now. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It was like on the road to WAP, basically. You know, like
Yes.
it was early on. The 80s
Yes.
were nice and sweet. The 80s would date you. To take you on
Right.
2 dates first.
Shoot.
The 90s, it was like we had 2 dates.
By the 2000s, it's like, all right, there's no date needed. Period. Like the Freak Me joint, nah, this ain't. This
Get
ain't
the peaches
hitting.
and cream. Let's go.
That boom, there it is. It's the truth. Peaches and cream, I like it. You did that. That's dope because it is the truth. It's
112
the
is my
truth.
shit. So.
Oh God, my
Enough.
God! This just brings me back to so many. 93 was such a.
And the one that I'm so glad that they them getting this hit with a very good album.
Right.
Because sometimes
Great
you get
album.
people that get a hit, especially if it's their first album, and the album might not quite, they can often lose momentum after, you know, they have the big thing happen, or shut up, or you have, or, and I'm also glad that Freak Me, like JR said, was their second single.
Yes.
Right.
So they had a chance to start getting buzz around their name. It was a little minor. Happy Days was a more minor R&B
That's probably
hit,
my
but it
least
was a
favorite
hit.
song on the CD. Happy Days. Happy Days is probably my least favorite song on the CD, I think.
Oh.
I'm trying to think.
No, but you know what's funny? No. The thing is right here.
He like, please don't tell Martin me.
No, but do you know what is my least favorite song on it?
Don't say number 8.
This one.
I
love
it.
I love it.
I love that song, but
Yes.
It's small potatoes compared to that album. That album is amazing.
Oh my God.
So I'm so glad they had a really great album to like back up such a monster hit.
There's no skips.
Yes. At all.
And the best song is Lose Control. I'm sorry.
That's my favorite.
On this album.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite, but it's my favorite on the album.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know how many times
I
I've
know
listened
what
to
your
that
favorite
song.
is.
I put that on repeat some nights, you know, just remember when you used to repeat button?
Yes. Yep. See, back then, y'all, when we had a cassette, we had to rewind it.
Make you spin around and around.
And I love, and you know how Brian said when Brian was talking about SWV, actually about singles, the label always the label wanted to go with Weak. Thank God they didn't, because it would have been bad. You know what I'm saying? So I think, and coming from Keith Sweat, he didn't, and he's the ballad guy. He didn't even start his albums off with a ballad. He always went with his first singles was always an up-tempo record. Right. Even though we know Keith Sweat for the ballads that he do, no, he like, nah, we can't do it. So I'm glad that he did that with Silk. And did he do that with Cut Close? I forgot. No.
No.
They didn't. And maybe that's what we talked about it.
When we talked about the Cut Close, that was a thing that we brought up, that to be their biggest song. That shouldn't have been the first single. That should have been the second single.
Yes.
It was a perfect second single.
Like you said, Happy Days give you a little buzz because Keith Sweat's on it. So you got his audience there. And then it gets like, who is this new group? Okay. And who is this church singing? Because this is some church coming out. You know what I'm saying? And then you go to Freak Me, and then it's like, oh, that's them. You know what I mean? So it was just, it was smart. And I'm glad. I'm so glad that this is really their signature record, to be honest. It really is. So,
The
And
next
then
two
the
were
third-
really good though.
yeah, it was. It was.
And then the third single is 2 songs because the third single is "Girl You For Me" and "Lose Control."
The B-side. Yes, God. Yes, God. Mm.
The song with Gerald, I'm surprised I never put that out, but
Yeah,
You know
What a great
why?
song.
Because of probably Rude Boy. Think about it. Because
Yeah.
again, Rude Boys had, written all over your face, and he's on it. So
Yeah.
it's like different groups and all that. Let's keep that on the album. You know what I'm saying? Even though I
That's a great
love
song.
that joint too.
that
Like,
is a song. I love that song.
listen, Jared ain't gonna get on nothing that ain't no song. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like that. But that was, Steve-O, that was a question that I had after, I got older. I was like, well, why they didn't bring out the joint with Gerald? But I was like, you had Rude Boys at the time. So you had Written All Over Your Face that was freaking huge. So
Right.
it would have been like, okay, we got the joint with Keith on it. It's already 5 of these dudes. Let's just keep it there. You know what I'm saying? And then but Freak Me, yes. That's crazy. I didn't know we was gonna say it at least. That it was the least favorite song.
It is. I mean, that's okay because, like Steve-O said, it is a no skip album for me.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's just, and you know why it's probably my least favorite is
Mhm.
it's just the saturation of it.
Yep.
It's
Mhm.
not the
Yeah,
song.
I
It's
get it.
not the song itself.
Right.
Agreed.
I think it's a great. But
Plus, we heard it so much too. You know what I mean? So a lot.
With it being a crossover of you know what I'm saying, a crossover smash. And once the crossover get it,
Yep.
forget it. You know what I'm saying? Like, forget it. So by now, on the R&B charts, by then it's like, all right, we like it. Let's go on to the next record. You know what I'm saying?
Do you have another single? Yeah.
Right. The crossover, once they get it, they ain't letting it go. Like, they like,
we didn't let it go either. It was the most weeks at
You
number
got a
1,
point there.
and then it was
got a
number
point.
2 for how many more weeks?
Yeah.
So now
You got a point there.
we didn't
You
move
got a
on
point.
either. In this
Yeah, we didn't
instance.
move on with it.
It is times that happens though, but we not in this instance.
But this was also the time where there was a lot of songs that just would stay there and wouldn't leave. We was coming out of Whitney, Boyz II Men, Mariah,
Janet.
SWV, Silk. It was like they were not letting these songs. They was
Like Shy was up there too. Was Shy that
Shy,
much too?
yes.
Yeah, they were.
Oh,
That's like my second.
was that a
favorite
number
CD.
1 smash? Oh, it
If
was
I
number
Ever?
1 too.
If
It
Yeah.
had to be. It had to be. I don't know off the top of my head, but it had to be.
I'm
If it
pretty
wasn't,
sure.
they were wrong.
Because I know they had to fight with Boyz II Men a little bit. So I'm like,
I mean, in my book, that's like top 5 R&B CD for me. So
oh, really?
If I Ever, hell yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
maybe one skip on that one, but
Oh, y'all, it peaked at number 2.
did it really?
Yep.
Oh, see, it came out in 92.
Yeah. So you know what it was going against. End of the road.
Yeah.
And I will always love you. You were not getting through to them two at all.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's who they fought with. Because it should have been it was a number 1 on the R&B charts though.
I almost picked that actually.
Ooh.
I almost picked Comforter, but I was like, no, Freak Me was the one that was like, come see us.
Oh, not Comforter though. Oh.
That's just one of my favorite songs from the 90s, period.
Period. What's wrong with Comforter?
Oh no, I love it. Oh, I love Comforter. Oh no. That's why I was like, oh no. See, now you gotta come back and talk about Comforter.
Okay. Or Baby I'm Yours. I'll come back. Yep.
Oh, babe. Actually, that is my favorite song from them, but I love Comforter too. But I love Baby I'm Yours. I love that record. It just takes
I'm with
me
Weed,
back
my favorite song from them, but
oh,
that's on the second one.
Yeah.
I like Baby I'm Yours. It's so breezy.
Yes, it's so breezy. Yes.
It feels good.
Yep,
Yeah.
it is a good song.
Yes.
It's respectful, you know?
Yeah. It's a
Again,
very spring going into summer.
We're still
Yeah.
dating, you know. Let's go out, see the movies, you know, let's go to the beach.
see, yes, yes.
Mhm.
I ain't even know what that meant back then either, but I was
Right.
with it.
You sing that, and then you sing, "Cause tonight, baby."
Yep.
Start off with that. That's
Yep.
dating. When you get a little more serious, pop in.
Well, that's when you made the mixtape. You put "Freak Me" probably closer to the end. You got to ramp it up a little bit.
That's right. You can't
See, you know the
go right
vibes.
in.
You know the vibes.
Yeah.
Come
Love
on,
me a
come on,
mixtape.
get the draws tape. Y'all better.
Gotta have it. It's essential.
We're from the era of mixtape.
Right.
You had to make
Yeah.
mixtapes, you know,
Mhm.
because you had to catch it on the radio because you couldn't download it on the internet. So it was like
Yes. The
record.
good old pause tape,
Yep.
if you will.
Mm-hmm. Good days. My kids will never
Oh,
understand.
listen.
Yes. Oh, I appreciate you taking us down memory lane.
Yeah,
Yes.
likewise. I'm so glad you guys had me on.
Especially me and Steve could relate because we're the same age, so we
Right.
have like the same kind of mind about it.
Right. I don't know what I was singing at that age, but I was singing it. So
We,
Yeah,
we
so we're
all
like-
was when I was that age you was I was singing Marvin Gaye. So
Mhm.
true,
80s Marvin Gaye.
true that. The sexual healing
yeah,
is
that's
not
like-
what people think.
When I found that was like, hey, you really like this music. Let's go find some other stuff. So I had to kind of work my way
Right. Basically, yes.
the hard way back then because you couldn't just like Google stuff or turn on Spotify or
Mm-mm.
They so lucky. So lucky. We had to actually research stuff and go through it, go to stores and all this kind of stuff. It was real back then, yo, like real. The good old days.
at least until I moved a little south and then I found Midnight Love and I was like, oh, this is on TV? Oh. Okay.
Oh, love it, love it.
Yes. So, Steve-O, how can folks find you if you want to be found out in these internet streets?
Yeah, I'm that dude Steve-O on Twitter or this dude Steve-O. I forget which one. That's all I have though. That's all I really use is Twitter. I think I have an IG page, but I don't really do anything with it except for monitor what my kids do.
I hear that.
Yeah, that's real.
That's pretty good. I appreciate you guys having me on though.
Oh, nah, you got to come back to do a song now again.
Mhm.
Absolutely. This was so much fun.
Yes.
Yes. And we so glad that our cousins came to hang out with us today in the live chat. What up, y'all? Or, people that watch it later. It don't matter. But we appreciate y'all. Tell a friend about us. Tell an enemy about us. Just tell somebody. And see, John rolls he rolls his eyes every time.
Yeah, that's what I love about it. Just keep it going. That's what I love about your content.
Yes.
But yeah, we love y'all. We have a lot of new fun stuff coming up this season. So stay tuned and just I don't know. That's it. Yeah. So we will catch y'all out. I'm special. Y'all know that. But yeah, we will catch y'all on the next episode of Catch.
Oh, Lord.
We will catch y'all on the next episode of Catch That. I promise. Peace.
You know why I started? Because I thought you